her loss that his only comfort was the infant, little Prince Alfred. The king had a sister, the Lady Anne, who was secretly skilled in good magic, and vowed to protect this baby boy who would never know his mother. In time, the king married again. His new queen, Edith, was strikingly beautiful but cold, with eyes that missed nothing. Few knew her secret, that she was kin to a wicked fairy of the mountain who lived in that very kingdom. Soon Queen Edith, the king's new wife, bore her own son, Prince Eric. The queen was consumed with rage at the thought that the firstborn Alfred, by then 4 years old, would come between her own son and the throne. She took care, however, to conceal her jealous feelings from the king. At length, the evil queen could control herself no longer. She sent a trusty servant to her relative, the fairy of the mountain, to beg her to devise some means by which she might get rid of her stepson once and for all. The fairy replied that it was impossible to attempt anything against the young prince, as he was under the protection of some greater power than her own. For the Lady Anne, sister of the king, was protecting the young Alfred with her magic. In time, Lady Anne married a nobleman from another kingdom and moved away. She continued to watch over her nephew from afar, but worried her spells were not as strong from such a distance. She was especially concerned, as she knew all about Queen Edith's wicked designs. So Lady Anne sent Eric a splendid ruby on a golden chain, along with written instructions to wear it night and day to protect him from all attacks. However, she cautioned that the talisman retained its power only as long as young Alfred remained in his father's dominion. Queen Edith found out about the ruby and its powers and made every attempt to lure the prince out of the country. But all her efforts failed until one day, when a fateful letter arrived. It was a letter from Lady Anne herself, who relayed that she was gravely ill and yearned to see her 14-year-old nephew Alfred one last time. When she had written the letter, the good Anne felt confident that she could protect the prince while he journeyed to see her. But alas, her powers were weakened by her illness more than she knew. The king hesitated to permit the journey, mindful of the ruby's limitation. But his second wife, Queen Edith, urged him on. At last, he agreed. Prince Alfred had been raised tenderly by a governess and her husband, who both loved him like a son. Their daughter, Zeta, had grown up at his side, and they played together often. When Alfred's journey began, the three of them accompanied the prince in his royal carriage. Prince Alfred had been raised tenderly by a governess and her husband, who both loved him like a son. All went well as the retinue traveled through the kingdom. But once the group crossed the border, a blazing desert stretched before them. The sun burned hot, and their stores of water ran dry. When a grove of trees shimmered in the distance, the weary group stumbled toward it with sighs of relief. For everyone knew that the presence of trees meant that water must be near. Along with the others, Alfred knelt to drink from a small pond and vanished. The horrified courtiers searched everywhere, shouting his name in despair. Suddenly, the fairy of the mountain appeared atop a boulder. "You're wasting your time. Forever. Back, forget him." She vanished in a whirl of smoke. "Your prince is gone forever. Turn back, forget him." Empty-handed and with heavy hearts, the company returned to the palace, bringing with them the sad news, which so greatly distressed the king that he fell ill and died not long after. Queen Edith could barely conceal her delight as her son, Eric, would soon be crowned. The young king was devoted to hunting and was away almost every day chasing deer, boar, and wolves. His mother quickly assumed the rule over the kingdom. The cold queen commanded with an iron fist, and the people grew hungry and afraid. They whispered that she must have somehow done away with the beloved Prince Alfred. Alfred's faithful governess, whose husband died soon after the prince disappeared, withdrew to her cottage with Zeta. Together, they mourned the loss of the two people they had loved most in the world. One morning after a long hunt in the forest, young King Eric stopped to rest beside a brook. As he sat down to a grand lunch in his tent, he spotted a brilliant emerald-green monkey outside the tent, crouched in a nearby tree. As he sat down to a grand lunch in his tent, he spotted a brilliant emerald-green monkey outside the tent in a nearby tree. The monkey gazed at him so tenderly that the king felt quite moved. He forbade his courtiers to frighten it. The monkey sprang from bough to bough, and at last gradually approached the king, who offered him some food. The monkey took it with care and finally came to the table. Enchanted, Eric brought the emerald monkey back to the palace. He allowed no one else to attend to its care. Soon the entire court talked of nothing but the king's new emerald-colored pet that followed him everywhere. Enchanted, Eric brought the emerald monkey back to the palace. Queen Edith eyed the new pet with suspicion. Yet her son was so devoted to the animal that she held back and said nothing. One day, the little monkey escaped the palace and leaped through an open window into the cottage where the governess and Zeta lived. His gentle, affectionate manner soon won their hearts with his endearing ways. The king discovered where the monkey had escaped to and sent his courtiers to fetch the animal back. But the monkey made such piteous cries and seemed so unhappy when anyone attempted to catch him that the two ladies to plead with the king to leave the monkey a little longer with them. The courtiers returned with their message, and the king consented. That evening, as mother and daughter sat by the garden fountain, the monkey gazed at Zeta with such sad, loving eyes that they hardly knew what to think. When tears rolled down its furry cheeks, they were even more bewildered. When tears rolled down its furry cheeks, they were even more bewildered. The next day in a honeysuckle arbor, the mother and daughter began to talk of the emerald-green monkey and his strange ways. The mother said, "My dear child, I can no longer hide my feelings from you. I cannot get the thought out of my mind that the emerald monkey is none other than our beloved Prince Alfred, transformed somehow. I know the idea sounds wild, but I cannot get it out of my heart, and it leaves me no peace." Before Zeta could answer, the monkey appeared above them, nodding slowly and tilting its head to one side. That night, the governess dreamed of Alfred's mother, the good queen who had died long ago. In the governess' dream, the queen said to her, "That night, the governess dreamed of Alfred's mother, the good queen who had died long ago. Go to your garden. Lift the small marble slab beneath the great myrtle tree. You will find a crystal vase filled with green liquid. Prepare a bath of rose water for what weighs most on your heart, and rub it with this liquid." The governess woke at once. She hurried to the garden, where she found everything just as described. She roused Zeta, and together they prepared the bath of rose water. They gently lowered the monkey inside, and the governess rubbed him with the green liquid. Their suspense was not long. Suddenly the monkey's skin dropped off, and there before them stood Prince Alfred, alive and whole. The joy of their reunion was beyond words. Suddenly the monkey's skin dropped off, and there before them stood Prince Alfred, alive and whole. After a time, the mother and daughter begged the prince to relate his adventures. He told them his tale, the desert pond that was not a pond at all, and the fairy's enchantment. "I was unable to tell anyone who was looking for me who I was," said Prince Alfred, "or what had happened to me. After they left, I despaired. I thought I'd be a monkey forever, never again to know human joy." He told them that he determined to get back home, if only to watch his loved ones from afar.